Hey guys, it's Jen with Card Zen by Jen, and I am here to show you my last card of my fractured card series. My ladies at my last Sip and Stamp learned how to make fractured cards in 3 different ways, and this is the one way that really caught them by surprise. So if you remember our previous fractured cards, the first one was the traditional, and that's where you start with your focal point, build your strips all the way around, and then add in your DSP, your designer series paper, and you snip off the edges. Our second one was the easiest, and it used one sheet as the background, and then your focal point and your strips. But you didn't have to have any other cut pieces. You just used one sheet as your background. Now, this one is you're going to make your own background, quite honestly, is what we're doing. We're going to make our own background. And instead of using strips to separate our quadrants, we are using ribbon. And I guess I should have grabbed the ribbon before I started. I'll grab it now. Okay, so again, we are going to start with the piece that we're building off of. The last thing that we are going to do is adhere that to the card base. So I don't want you adhering anything to the card base yet. And we are going to put this together. It's actually a lot easier than it looks. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So I'm going to set my card base aside before I accidentally do anything. We are using the More Than Autumn stamp set. This is one of the $1 million sale stamp sets. This was Joe Golden's. I absolutely love this. This is going to work for fall, for Christmas, into all the winter months and all of the fall months. It's just gorgeous. So this card today is really all about Team Pumpkin versus Team Apple. And I know everybody's on one side of the fence or the other, but yeah, so it's all about Team Pumpkin or Team Apple. We are going to need the dies with this, but we don't need them right now, so we're going to set that aside for just a second. We have a piece of basic beige. We are going to start, this is 4 by 5 1/4. Again, we start with a focal point. The focal point is going to just be this piece of crumb cake. It is 1.5 by 1.5, and we are going to start by putting that in the center. I shouldn't have covered up my card. Oops, there we go. So this is going to go in the center. Oops, I left my glue sit too long. There we go. That's better. And we are going to do it kind of like at a diagonal here in the center. It does not have to be perfect. It is fine. And we're good. Now, what we're going to do, because we are going to stamp our background, and it's going to be apples and pumpkins, but I need to know where to stamp my apples and pumpkins, right? This is where we're going to bring in a ruler. And my friend Betsy gave me this ruler. I use these rulers all the time. And what we're going to do is we're just going up along the edge of that square, and I'm going to make a faint line right there. And come the other way, do the same thing. I'm going to make a faint line right there. On all sides, you are just extending the line very faintly so that you know where to stamp your apples and your pumpkins. It is that simple, folks. That simple. Okay, so now we are going, now we are going to ink up our apples and our pumpkins. Let me grab those out of here. They have gotten a lot of use so far. Again, we did this for a in-person Sip and Stamp, and it was really cool to see the variations that everybody had on this card. It was really neat. So we are just going to use our Memento black tuxedo black. And you can start anywhere. So you can do apples, 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 but whatever it is, it really should be alternating. So I'm gonna do pumpkin, pumpkin, and you just kind of do this all different ways. To be honest, this is like the hardest thing for me. I am a very symmetrical person. That I feel like everything has to be symmetrical. Everything has to be even. So for me to do kind of like a willy-nilly pattern, I call it, is super difficult. And it's really just kind of forced. I didn't get all of that on there, but that's okay. Okay, I think we're good. Let's bring our apples in. So tell me in the comments, guys, what are you? Team apple? Team pumpkin? Truth be told, I do not like pumpkin spice, anything. I do like pumpkin pie, but if I was given my choice between pumpkin pie and my mother's apple pie, I will take apple pie every day of the week. Nobody makes apple pie like my mother does. And I wish that I would have gotten the gene that was a good baker, but apparently I did not. And again, if it helps you to turn your paper, if it helps you to turn your block, whatever it helps you to do this kind of willy-nilly, go for it. And again, it does not have to be perfect. You are just putting apples and pumpkins on a paper. So we have our apples, we have our pumpkins. We are now going to bring in our ribbon. I am typically a proponent of liquid glue, but in this case, you cannot use liquid glue. So we are using this natural trim. It's the polka dot trim, but it has like a burlappy feel to it. You cannot adhere this with liquid glue. You are going to have to use a tape runner. And do not judge me, but right now I am out of the Stampin' Up! Tape runner. But there's no judgment on this site. And we are simply going to come right down along and put our adhesive down. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. So I just went right down along the side of my square, followed that line, right down along the side of the square, followed my line. There we go. Now that we've gone the whole way around, we are going to bring in our ribbon. Make sure that you're starting with a straight edge. You are, again, the philosophy of this is bring it to the edge of the square and stop, right? Doing the same thing. You are going to need to push your polka dot trim down into that adhesive. And I'm not worried about the edges right now. I'm more worried that I have a straight edge on here. I'll take care of the other edges later. Again, I need my straight edge. And we are just gonna push it the whole way to the end. I love this card. I was so excited when I did this. I came up with this at a retreat, and my upline was sitting across the table from me, and I'm like, wait a minute, you could do a fractured card with ribbon. Has anybody ever done a fractured card just with the ribbon? And I was kind of tickled. I felt like maybe I came up with something. I don't know if I did or not. I'm sure somebody else has done it, but I certainly felt tickled that I came up with something, and it made me very excited. So again, we are pushing this down, and then we are trimming. Voila, look at that. We're not done yet, but we are going to go ahead and trim off our edges. And to do that, we are just going to turn it over and trim. Turn it over, trim. In case nobody ever told you, paper snips are very sharp. Always be careful. Never let children use them. They are very, very sharp. All right, so let me grab some markers. Let's color in some pumpkins and some apples. And I may need to, I started prepping for my upcoming Christmas card buffet. So I've already pulled some of my markers to go with the cards. So I just needed to grab a couple of those. So let's do a pumpkin. And it doesn't matter which one you color in. I'm just going to color in this one right here. And then down here, I'm going to color in this one. And then for our apples, let's do this one here. I think I had my ladies scared whenever I had this card. I think they thought I was going to make them color in all of them. But you just want a focal point, really, is all we're doing. Just a focal point. I'm going to use the bullet side of my Granny Apple Green to do the leaf. Voila, it's that easy. The next thing that we are going to do, we're going to set this aside for just a second. We now need to stamp our cup and our, I don't know what to call that, the whip topping for on the top. So I'm going to use Basic Black to stamp this, the cup, and I'm going to use Smoky Slate to do the whip topping. And I'm going to do that on a piece of Basic White. I'm going to move this out of the way so that I do not mess it up. And let's pull out our stamp set. I feel that as the day goes on, I just get more and more stuff on my desk, and it just becomes crazy. So we're going to pull the cup and set the rest of them aside. We'll load that on our block. Again, this is just going to be in the memento. I just realized that I did this on a piece that is too wide for my mini. So I'll have to cut that paper before I can put it in my mini die cutting machine. Let me go ahead and we will ink up the whip topping in the Smoky Slate. Put that aside. And I'm going to slice this down into a smaller piece. So the width of the small die cutter, the mini embossing machine, the width is about 3 inches, maybe 3.5 tops. So when you're doing it, you want to make sure that you're using a smaller piece of paper so that you can fit it through there. So we fixed that. Grab out my base and my bottom plate, and let's grab our dies. This was the one table at the Sip and Stamp that there were things everywhere, between the markers and the dies, and just so much everywhere. Sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. All right. Try not to stick my head under the camera. Get this through here. There we go. I'm going to jiggle you for just a second. I apologize. And we are done with that. Okay, get rid of that. We are going to color we're going to color our cup, and you can use a light pecan pie when you're coloring your cup. It doesn't have to be exact because it's going to be underneath your sentiment, so it's going to kind of mostly get hidden. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm just going to do this in a light pecan. And I'm just going to go around the edge just one more time, just to give it a little bit of more shadow around the edge. Again, it does not have to be perfect. There you go. And then on my froth, or whatever it is, I'm not sure what it is, I am going to put some, maybe not with that one, let's see here, Wink of Stella. There, this one's good. So Wink of Stella is a glitter brush. You can use it for a lot of things. You can use it to paint with, believe it or not. You can pick up color with it and paint with it. I am just using it to add just a little bit of a twinkle to my whip topping. All right, so now we are going to use, find our card base again. Now we are going to use my, oh my goodness, dimensionals. Wow. Words, Jennifer, words. Some days, I'm telling you, some days. I'm not sure that I have it. I could probably use another cup of coffee, but it's too late in the day at this point. I'm just going to put some dimensionals here on the back. We just want it to pop up. There's that. And then let's put dimensional on the back of our whipped cream. And we're just going to pop that at the top there. Voila. Somewhere I have a Cajun Craze strip that, what did I do with it? I lost it. It was here a minute ago, and then it was gone. Find another one. All right, so Cajun Craze strip. We are going to mount our Nothing's Better Than. Just for simplicity, actually, no, let me show you this. The Nothing's Better Than is really hard to adhere because it is so small. This is the time where you really want to use adhesive sheets. So, and just in case you've never used adhesive sheets before, I'm going to show you how to do that. And if you have used them before and you want to skip this part, I'm okay with that. But some people might not have used them before, so let's show them how to do that. We are going to need to, I guess, first of all, bring out our adhesive sheets. So these are the adhesive sheets with Stampin' Up. You get a lot. You get a lot of adhesive sheets in this. I only need a piece. I use kind of a piece at a time, and I just cut off what I need. Here is my piece of basic white that I am going to cut the Nothing's Better Than out of. So what I need to do is I need to put just a little bit of that adhesive sheet onto the back before I die cut it. So it has this break in the backing so that you can get a hold of it and take that off. It just has a very, very thin layer of adhesive on it. All right, so I'm gonna put this like right in the center. It does not have to be exact. It is fine. Let's set this aside because now we have way too much going on here. Way too much. Even my ADHD brain is getting a little overwhelmed. All right, so here we are. We have our basic white. This is what we're gonna die cut out of. We adhered our adhesive sheet, a little piece of it to the back, right about in the center. Does not have to be exact. We are going to bring in our die cut of Nothing's Better Than. And I'm gonna need my mini back out again. I'm telling you, this mini, it's a lifesaver. And top plate, there we go. So when you set this down, we have our adhesive sheet adhered to the back of it. There is a backing on there, so it's not sticky right now. I'm gonna put this down. I am gonna put the Nothing's Better Than right about here. Put my top plate on and let's run it through. I am gonna jiggle you again, I apologize. And because I really want that to cut out really good, I'm taking it forward and then I'm taking it backwards. Okay, so let's put this away and I will show you what we have created. Okay, so it cut out our Nothing's Better Than. All right. And then the hard part of this is going to be to get a hold of that backing and peel that off. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out all the little pieces here. So here's part of that backing, if you can see that. I'm just getting my fingernail underneath of it and it lifts out, lifts right off. Okay, so there's my backing. I still have the piece in my R that I need to get out. It's all out. So now the whole back of this is sticky. The whole back of that is sticky because of that adhesive sheet. So now all I have to do is bring in my Cajun Craze. Make sure that we are lined up properly here. Again, may not be perfect. And there we go. And press it down. And that is a lot better than getting sticky fingers because of the glue, or trying to use a tape runner. You can't possibly use a tape runner for that. It's too intricate. It's just too intricate. So let's bring our card front back. We are gonna put a Stampin' dimensional on each side. One on each side. It is going to straddle our iced latte cup. And that's what I'm hungry for right now, so that's what I'm calling it, iced latte cup. Voila. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, we are going to go ahead and do our inside. So, for your inside, I told you, this is a Team Apple or a Team Pumpkin card. So for the inside, I used a piece of basic white. This is cut to 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And we are going to bring in our stamp set. Whatever I did with it, here it is. Oops. We're gonna bring in our stamp set. And there is the wording, except maybe you. So nothing's better than apple, pumpkin, except maybe you. Here it is at the bottom. So let me pull that, and we're gonna do that in basic black, or I'm sorry, the Memento. And we're just gonna put that top center. Except maybe you. Voila. And then we are going to take our cup again, and we are going to just angle that. And our froth, what did I do with my smoky slate? Did I put it away? Got ahead of myself, started putting things away. Crazy, crazy. Okay, so let's do our whipped topping. We are going to do just a little bit of, let's see, we are going to do just a little bit of coloring around the edge. Let me get this off my table before I cause a big mess. And we're going to bring in, again, how much did I do there? Not a lot. Okay. I'm just going to go around the edge. Just going to go around the edge of that. And this is where you get to choose. Are you team apple or are you team pumpkin? Now the last one that I made, I chose team apple. So this one I'm going to choose team pumpkin. So I'm going to ink up my pumpkin, and pumpkin's going to go right there in the center of my cup. We're going to color him in. We are going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella again because I like it and it makes me happy, and I don't know what I did with it. There we go. Add in a little bit of Wink of Stella. I feel like I have stuff everywhere. Let's put this card together before I really just make one big mess here. So I have my Cajun Craze cardstock. It is 8.5 by 5.5. We are simply scoring it. Hello, bone folder. There we go. We are simply scoring it, creasing it with our bone folder. This is going to be a landscape card, so you can use your liquid glue or tape runner on the back of it, whatever you need to do. Just a reminder though that whenever you do that trim on the front, you do have to use a tape runner for that. Okay, we are going to adhere our card front. I really do love this design. I can't wait to do some more. Now that I've discovered that you can do fractured cards with ribbon as the strips, I really do want to do some other ones and see how that comes out. So as I do them, I will add them to my blog post at the bottom so that you can see other variations. And there you go. We have it. So that one did take a little bit longer. Yes, we are stamping our background for this one and letting that ribbon be our bones of our card for that one. But I hope that you enjoyed it, and it gives you another option for making your fractured cards. I would love to see what you come up with. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, Card Zen by Jen, Jennifer Blaszak. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central PA. Please follow, subscribe to my YouTube. Come back and see me on my blogs. I always have something new to show you, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Enjoy the rest of your day, and happy stamping.